And welcome back everybody to another episode of Soul Rend. I'm your host, Undisturbed Potato, and I don't know if you guys could see, but our skin is not loaded, and that is because today Microsoft had a big issue with the Azure that they have, or something like that. I'm not too sure what it's about. All I know is that their systems went down, Xbox, Minecraft, and a few other things were having big issues, and I managed to get in to upload this video just because the video that I was going to upload, that was supposed to be the true episode 8. I think that's what we're on right now. Well, in that episode, I did not accomplish what I wanted to do because I was planning on defeating the Frostmaw and completing Tongbi's challenge. However, I don't know if you guys have started the Tongbi challenge to get that other shard to go to the Nether, but it is parkour, and I am not that good at parkour. I've never really cared about parkour slash had any use for it except for jumping over some areas when I'm caving and whatnot. But yeah, so that thing was pretty hard. I couldn't beat it last episode. So what I resorted to was defeating Tongbi, and turns out if you just defeat him, or yeah, basically take him out, you do not complete the challenge. So we did not get any of the rewards, which kind of sucks, just because I did go and beat Frostmaw, and I did think I was gonna beat Tongbi. So the plan was to go to the Nether in this episode, but as I digress, we haven't beaten it. I'm probably going to do that offline just because I will have to do parkour, and something that I do recommend you have to be able to beat it better is some potions of leaping. So with these potions, I think there is a chance of finding them in chests, just like how I found these potions all in chests. But the way I got this was by crafting it, so I did go hunting rabbits. We did have a blaze or brewing stand, which I've gotten from the cleric area, I believe, or yeah, from one of the villages. I'm pretty sure that's where I got it from. As for the blaze powder, since we cannot go to the Nether, I went searching for different catacombs, since I do know that either blaze powder or blaze rods is what's required to make the fire spells and iron spells. So I went to, I think, I found one catacomb relatively close by. I went and defeated the Dead King, and as I was searching through the catacombs, I did find a chest that had a singular blaze rod. So I turned that into blaze powder, made it, or I put it in here so I could craft those potions. So now I do have those potions of leaping. Each one is 8 minutes. I do have the resources available to make more potions if need be. And I did find a secondary monastery just because the one that I did find was super far out, and that was because I was looking for the Frostmaw. So that one pointed me to a monastery even farther away. If we take a look over here, once I found Frostmaw, I put the monastery, and then I went back to base to get some supplies, and then I went on my journey all the way over here, which sucks just because we technically do have a monastery up here. And I guess that's my fault for looking for it while I was over here, which also makes no sense because technically this monastery should have been way closer and easier to get to than this one all the way out here. So all I could say is you gotta love Minecraft and its randomness when functioning properly. I see that all the time, especially when I am working with my mod and I'm diving into the code. It is kind of redacted how some things are set. It's very weird, very complicated for no reason. But yeah, in that episode we did go take out the Frostmaw. I did attempt the monastery, and basically we made some armor, and we were just reforging more armor. So before we were going over our diamond armor, and I did say, or I guess I never said, but I did want to make the shadow armor that was from iron spells, and that was because this armor was equivalent to diamond in protection and armor points, but the bonuses of this armor, if I hold shift, was the fact that this armor does give you additional spell power for a said magic class, in a sense, because there's fire magic, there's necromancy or blood magic, and then there's ice, thunder, etc. I do like using the magic missile, which is ender, and that's the reason why I went with this armor set. But if you actually want to take a quick look at all the other iron spells, oops, irons, and we come over here, you could see that they do have other armor sets. So if you actually wanted to focus on holy spell armor or ice or lightning or whatever the case may be, they do have the other armor sets. Or if you want to be more broad in general, they do have the netherite battle mage set. And I'm pretty sure this scarecrow one, nah, that one doesn't really give you bonuses, but there are other options out there depending on what you did want to make. For me, this was the class or area that I want to go into, so this is why I made it. So we got the additional 10% spell power, and we get extra mana, as well as some normal spell power. The reason why the mana is super important is because if we come over here to our classes, I don't know if I mentioned this in the beginning of the series, but we are a spell sword, which means we are using weapons and magic. And when I first started, I did go through this route, and this is how I got a lot of my stats before going over here, improving the armor, and now coming and making my way back over here to the mage area where I did get this mage mana, got these spell powers, and all the way down here, this is probably one of the coolest things, is getting 1.5 spell power per 100 max mana. So with this armor set, as you can see, our armor does go all the way up to 1500. Well, that's also because I also reforged some of these guys to also include giving us a little bit of mana and some mana regeneration, as well as this guy also giving us 200 or 100 mana. Of course, there's books that can give you 200, so that's an additional 100 if you're trying to min-max those stats. But yeah, with 1500, I believe that's what, 22.5%? I could be wrong. I'm just going off the top of my head of percentages of what I think it could be. So an additional 22% damage is kind of crazy. One of you guys asked me in the comments why I am not using stuff in my offhand and why I'm not using the dragon steel that we can get from the quest book, which is it over here where we collected a piece of dragon steel, which dragon steel is a very useful resource, and the main reason why I've been holding off is because my main goal is to make a full set of armor. Of course, you could always just make some weapons and improve upon it. Yeah, these are all the different weapons and things available to make, and it would help in fighting, but I do believe the weapons I do have right now do tons of damage, like my little spear over here when we do go into F3 or the fighting stance. As you can see, this guy or this weapon does attack super quickly, has multiple attacks in a single attack pattern, and that's just because it's like one of those rare weapons that have this type of animation, and because of that I'm doing multiple hits in one attack. And I'm pretty sure if you saw him spinning around the weapon, that's roughly 4 to 5 attacks, and 4 to 5 attacks attacking very quickly like that is roughly 30 damage in a very short time frame, and that's just basing it on the hit points. However, I do have it enchanted at 9, so if you just say 5 attacks, that's 45 damage. However, we do have gems inside that allow us to pierce armor, which gives us additional damage. Not to mention, we do have all these stats, which I did write it out over here on a piece of paper. I did not tally it all. However, if I just look at the damage percentages, we should be looking at, that's 92, roughly 140% bonus damage on our weapon. So our spear over here is doing 9 damage at 142%. Let's just say that's 150%, so that's 18. Half of 18 is 27. I could be wrong with my math. It could just all be based on the base damage, which in that case could be basically 22 and a half, 23 damage per smack. And then how I said, when it does the flurry of attacks very quickly, 22 times 5, that's 110 damage in a second, which is pretty crazy, just because even if we go against level 60 mobs, they're usually at like 120 to 140 health. And then since we have the armor piercing, we could basically shred them insanely quickly. And as I said, as I am playing as a spell sword, I am going into magic or from iron spells, which it can get pretty crazy. Like if we take a quick look at our magic missile, and we are holding this guy, if we look at the damage, we are doing 139.91, so basically 140 damage per missile. So every 30 mana that we use gives us 140 damage with an insanely low cooldown, so we could just shoot this like a machine gun. It is kind of crazy when you just hold it down. Look at that, just boom, 140 per each bolt that's flying out and hitting an enemy. And then because of all the regen percentages that I've been reforging for, we do regenerate our mana very quickly, especially since this does have 40% mana regen on it after being reforged, aka I got it just like this. It was beautiful, so I have not reforged it, but I did add some spell power on it. That's why it does some crazy damage. And if we want to take it to another level, if we look at our scroll wheel, this is what I wanted to address to you who commented, is the fact that over here we could use spells to increase our percentages and our current stats, so that I don't really need to go the extra mile to make sure I'm holding an extra item or whatever the case. I could use that for anything. When I'm mining, I put torches. Sometimes I just put the food there so then I could just eat without having to switch when I'm holding one of my swords or something. It just allows for flexibility. Like right now, the shield that I did craft and reforge and threw some gems on does add additional armor, so I will now be holding a sword in my offhand just so that it can increase my armor. As you can see, 6.3%. Then I added 2 gems, one that has 9.6 and the other one has 7.7. So in reality, that's what, 17, 23, basically an extra 23% armor. If we do take it off, as you can see, it does affect our little bar down here. But yeah, it does also give us cooldown. That's the reason why our cooldown is pretty low. And back to the mage stuff, the reason why I'd recommend everybody to get into iron spells, even if your class is slightly restricted in that effect, you might not be getting the full effectiveness from iron spells, but you can still get percentages from it. As you can see, if we choose oak skin, which is level 6, we do get 40% reduction in damage, so whenever we're getting attacked we take less damage. And then, like for me, it lasts 3 minutes and 2 seconds. That's usually enough for almost any and all boss fights. If I go down a little bit, we have 45. Level 3 is giving us 44 temporary health, but if we had this maxed out, I think at level 10 this could be like 100 some extra health, so we're basically doubling what we have already. It is pretty insane. And not to mention, if you are playing with your friends, it is a radius spell, so they will also get that buff. I already talked about the magic missile. Acid spit, also a very useful item, just because you can cast it at a boss or enemy that does have high health, and as you can see, it does reduce their armor. I do believe this also goes to like level 8, level 10 when completely maxed out, which should be around 60% reduced armor. I could be wrong, I haven't checked it out. It's been a minute since I did that, but as you can see, basically almost 2 minutes long at level 4 for me. So if you have it maxed out, you might take some, um, what is it? There might be some restrictions, some limitations on it, so it might not last as long. The reduced armor might not be as high, but any of these effects stacking on top of each other does help you out a ton in the game. As for the reason why I'm not using that metal just to make the additional weapons is because there is a spell called Charge. It is a lightning based spell that is available in iron spells that is kind of crazy. As you can take a quick look, the effect length is insane at 4.2 minutes. Our speed, aka our running speed, I should say, is an additional 60%, so we are already fast. I just imbued a gem on my chestplate that gives us haste 2 permanently, and then an additional 60% speed makes you kind of crazy fast. Nothing can really keep up. So, super good. And as you can see as well, there is an additional 30% attack damage. So when you throw that on top of our already 140% roughly from all our stats, which we are close to like level 100 when it comes to allocating points, just a little FYI before somebody comes in like, oh, that's unbalanced. We are a very high level. I have been grinding a ton of levels and attacking a ton of enemies to get to this point. That's the reason why our stats are insanely high. I think we might be a little too strong and we should have been to the Nether a minute ago, but I'm just struggling because I suck at parkour. But yeah, an additional 30% attack damage on top of everything puts us at 170, which means our little spear does like 30 damage per swipe, and then if we have that flurry of attacks occasionally, that's 150 damage. So yeah, reason why I don't have extra stuff is because with all these different effects, my armor giving us bonus damage, and having gems inside our thing, having it reforged and enchanted, and utilizing iron spells, we are already doing insane amounts of damage, so I could kind of be very flexible with whatever I want to do. It does help if I were to be a little more specialized, I guess that's how it is, because then if I do hold certain things, it does boost me further. Like now the shield does give me extra stats that I do want, so I am holding it, but before didn't really need all that just because all of this stuff just keeps stacking and stacking on top of each other and can get you pretty insanely strong to the point where you don't really have to be very concerned about a lot of different things. And I just wanted to mention in this episode that I do plan on building myself a brand new base. I am going to be relocating from here just because this area is like level 16, 14, which is nothing. I could kill mobs and get like negative XP, or I say negative XP, but it's like so minimal it doesn't really have an impact on me. If I used, or if I went to an area that's like level 66, yeah, the enemies do a lot more damage and I could be at risk if I'm not paying attention, but in that area I do get a ton of XP. And if you're struggling with getting XP, I do recommend going to higher level areas, and all that means is you're going from wherever we started farther away. Like over here in the Frostmaw area, that's only level 30, and I'm pretty sure I spawned like right here. So here to Frostmaw is, let's see, that's like 2,500 blocks basically. So 2,500 blocks away you're at level 30. And if we come all the way out here, which I went to this monastery, this is like level 66. Okay, over here, this is the farthest point that I've ventured out so far. So from spawn, let's just say that's 0 to here, that's 5,500 blocks. 5,500 blocks out, we are in the level 66 area, which when you slay one of those mobs, each one drops like 130, 140 XP. So you could level up your, or you could get a ton of levels super quickly out there, so that you can just keep re-enchanting your gear. Because I'm pretty sure it was the chestplate and the helmet, I enchanted this like 15-20 times over just to get absolutely unbreaking. I didn't even check for any other enchantment on it. As you can see, this only has blast protection 4 on it, which I can't really see a use for blast protection so far, just because there's not any creepers. And yeah, but the rest of this stuff, we've gotten decent enchants. It's only the chestplate where it's like not that good, but I just was looking for absolutely unbreakable just because I don't want to deal with having to fix my stuff. But if you're a-okay with some of the things breaking, then I do recommend going the blacksmith route over here, which will allow you to increase the durability of your gear. And once you get this maxed out and you grab these two, I'm not going to touch them because I don't really need them, but if you grab that and you come through this route, you can increase the durability restoration of your gear. So here this adds an extra 100%, and if you grab this is another 150. So one item, like let's say your chest plate's almost broken, and your diamond chest plate's almost broken, you put one diamond, boom, you're like at 90% life on your chest plate again. That's if you don't have absolutely unbreaking. So if you are struggling with that, go to higher level areas, try not to die while you farm XP, so you could just come back and just enchant non-stop and cycling through, hopefully getting unbreakable. I do use a grindstone to just remove it, but if you can't do that, then go the blacksmith route, and that's another way to increase durability, because all you need to do is get a high level unbreaking on it with your gear at like 1700 like right now, and that's gonna last you quite a long time. But how I said, I highly recommend going to a high level area, getting a ton of XP, going back to your base, and just keep re-enchanting over and over and over again, just get absolutely unbreaking, just because it just is so good. It is very good. Like all that time I spent getting all that XP and just re-enchanting over and over and over again, super worth it. Super worth it. As for weapons, I highly recommend getting this spear. It is just so good, especially in the battle towers. That's where I recommend getting XP, going to a higher level area, finding a battle tower, and just farming in those rooms. Like the room before the very top, the boss room, that's a very solid room to grind XP. I do recommend this just because it helps you move around and attack. It is insane, and the only way to get this is from finding it in the dungeon chest. So you kind of have to have a little bit of luck on your side to get it, but once you do, and you enchant it and get it unbreaking, and you get your gear and your stats up, it becomes a super valuable weapon. And then, as I said, my other valuable weapon is this guy, which you can get it from the end city. However, there is a chance of getting this guy from a chest. It doesn't have to be an end city chest. I don't even remember where I got it, but I got it. Maybe it is in one of the videos. I think, you know what, I might have gotten it from that citadel, because that's the only place that I can think of that I've gotten it from. But yeah, if you manage to get this weapon, it is pretty good. As you can see, it does 16 attack damage, but I think it is technically, let's reduce the size of my screen real quick, just because you can't really see it. But if you look at it, it does attack very slowly, but because of that, it kind of acts like a bigger weapon. So when you do land a hit, you're not doing your 60 damage, you're doing like 30 damage per hit, 40 damage. You're doing a huge multiplier more. It's kind of insane. Even though it says 16, nah, it's like 50, 40. But when I've been using it, this thing has been one-shotting level 66 mobs. Yeah, a couple level 70 mobs have been one-shotted, even with them having armor. So, highly recommend just exploring and looking for some unique weapons, because they do damage. They do damage. It might require a little bit of a learning process to get used to them, because it can be a little hard if you're not paying attention. But once you get it to where you want it and you understand it and you utilize it, it can be insane. And then the gems that I threw on top is to increase attack speed, because it is really slow. I think it's like 0.9 in general. After getting reforged, you get, or it gained 9.1, and then I added another gem to give it 9.6. So it's technically like at 1.1% attack speed, and then with all the bonuses that I've gotten from allocating stats, we are at probably like 1.2, 1.4, no, 1.2 to 1.3 attack speed, and then like that 75% damage to bosses. That, how I said, that's the reason why this guy is super good when I go fight bosses. Just kind of get good at the spacing, make sure I utilize the little dashes to prevent getting hit, and you could do some crazy damage to these guys. I think the last boss that I attacked just was like 3-shot with this sword, and it was like a level 60, level 50 dragon. Just absolutely crazy damage. Just look at how you put out your points, make sure you're specializing in certain things, give your best to your weapons, and they can do damage, like crazy damage at that. But yeah, as I said, it is a little bit slow when it comes to attack speed. Let me take off this chest plate. As you can see, it does have a little bit of a delay, but the cool thing is if you do have haste potions, and or like if you look at this, I put a gem that gives chest plates hastened, or if you just get this spell over here, where is it? I think I have it over here. Yeah, this haste scroll, which I should have kept instead of infusing that gem, but I'll remove that gem and put a new one later. But yeah, if you look at it, hasten does increase your attack speed a set amount. I think the best way to look at it is looking at this potion. Haste 3 does give you 30% like speed, I guess, when it comes to mining and stuff, and it does apply to attack speed. So when I do put this on, I do get 20% attack speed on top of my bonuses and reforging. So this sword attacks more similarly to a normal sword, which is super helpful, especially since it is very slow in attacking. But like I said, this guy just becomes an even crazier monster because it already has 2 attack speed with everything. This guy's like 3 point something attack speed, is just attacking insanely fast. And then when you pair it up with charge, insane damage, insane attack speed, insane movement speed with every other effect, you just become an absolute unit. Anything that gets thrown at you can be beat in the overworld super quickly. That's why I am kind of in a rush to get to the Nether, so that we may be able to, I guess, fight the bosses from Cataclysm, progress in that manner, just because I do not know what the end game is. I'm pretty sure it might be just defeating the Ender Dragon, which in that case, if we could get to the end, we could get some more specialized eyes, since it does use the End Remastered mod. So yeah, looks like we have the Nether over here, and then looks like the other is also here. I don't know if that's like something we need, but I'm pretty sure it's just beat the end, and that's kind of like where it is. But we'll go a little bit advanced or outside of that and make sure we just beat every boss that's available if possible. But yeah, that's kind of everything that I have. Then, how I said, I add these little gems on top of my gear to give me additional effects and whatnot, and then reforged everything so I could get the most bang for my buck. And that's kind of how I'm playing and how I have things set up. I know it's a very long, very in-depth explanation. It's just, I could talk a lot about my class just because I'm very focused on trying to get as much damage out as possible. The tank class, I don't know what you're restricted to. It's been a minute since I last checked all that out, but I'm pretty sure you could get some pretty crazy stuff out of that as well. And so, after talking about all that, I do want to show you guys the damage that you can get once you choose this. As you see, you get speed, attack damage, and spell power, and then that speed stacked with haste, which does give us attack speed cast time reduction, mana regeneration, and just speed in general. Look at this. You can just, whoops, switch it over to this, and then boom, just shoot non-stop. Insane. Not to mention, because it does give us increased spell power whenever we cast the charged. If we take a look, it went from 140 to basically 161, an extra 21 damage, which is insane. Like, at this stage, you could go to level 60, level 70 areas and just hold it down, and within a few shots, you're basically disintegrating any mob that's in your way. If it's a boss, yeah, it's going to take a little bit more damage to take them out, but they should fall within our huge meta bar. So with that, there is a group of people that I did want to take out over here in the Ice Dirt Caves, and they are over there. Let's see, we have torches. Let's give ourselves some extra spells just in case. Okay, boom. So we got Fortify, we got Oak Skin, we already have Charged. Let's choose our Magic Missile, and let's go beat up this dragon. Let's see, what type of dragon is this? Oh, it's an Ice Dragon. Can't really see too well. Let's throw down some torches. If we run, this dude cannot catch us in the slightest. So if we just do this, okay, he does do a little bit of damage. So let's start doing, oh, he has a lot more health than I expected. This is not good. Ooh, not good at all. Very not good. Not good. Oh, run, run, run. Leave us alone. Okay. Okay, let's get some food in our stomachs. Okay, cool. Attack, heal up a bit, and let's move out the way, just because I do have a little something. Okay. Hey man, can you cool it? Okay, looks like he's low on health, but just like that, we took him out, but that was a little annoying. Okay, let's get over here. I truly didn't expect him to do that much damage. That was... And then, not to mention, what is this? I feel like I can't move. Is it because of these blocks? Really might be because of these blocks, but... Yeah, just like that. Took out that dragon. This dude is massive, honestly. Let's see. Okay. No, it's not these blocks. Ah, it's probably these spikes. Let's see. Nope. Okay, these spikes are annoying. How I said, I've never really played with this Ice and Fire mod much, but as you can see, I guess it's that dragon breath that was slowing us down and not letting us jump. What I did forget is that I do have this little frozen resistance potion that I did find in a chest. So there is another dragon cave over there. We will go over there and beat that guy up, and this time I will also take the potion just to show you how fast and easy it is to do damage. Like, I don't know if you guys saw there, I was attacking with this and dude started getting instantly destroyed. The staff did okay damage, but wasn't doing as much damage as I thought it would, which is kind of surprising. Okay, let's do this. Kind of want to go back to base, just grab some glass potions, or not glass potions, I'm a little redacted. Grab some glass models and milk this guy for as much blood as possible. Dang. Kind of wish we did have the torch mod. Let's see, mega torch. Nope. Torch. Nope. Yeah, I kind of wish we had the mega torch mod just for the fact that we could throw down the little flare and it'll light up the whole area, which would make it way easier to be able to see what's going on around us. But let's get our... Look at that, just hold it down, hits them, they're done. That easy. Okay, a little annoying, but look at this guy. Come on. Is he darkened out, or is he just like... That's the color of this dragon? Well, it doesn't really matter to me. Let's grab these bottles and just right-click away. Boom. 10. Not bad. Boom. Take everything from him. Happily. Let's see, what else? Anything else? Okay, this haste is a little annoying as I'm trying to look around. Oh, skull. Cool. Is that more bone? Yep. So 36 bones. So the bigger they are, the more bones you get. It was a stage 5? Ooh. I do not know if it was a male or female. So that could actually be something interesting as we mine around. Maybe we'll find some... Did we get attacked? Maybe we'll find some eggs, and then maybe we could get our first dragon. But if not, we could always just look at our map over here. Whoa. Yeah. All we have to do is come north, and it looks like there is another dragon lair there. And then we could beat them up and maybe, hopefully find, or have another shot of finding some eggs. But I am curious as to what type of loot we can find in here. Kinda... Alright. That was very not cool. Oh, look at that. We could actually find absolutely unbreaking. So, looks like if you are just walking around... Okay, this stuff's annoying. Let's switch out. Oh yeah, I do recommend whenever you're trying to break blocks, you switch out of combat stance, just because the interaction with the pickaxe is completely trash when it comes to mining. That's just my thoughts, just because it does try to utilize it as a weapon before it tries anything else. Yeah, just come over here, grab all this stuff. Don't really care about diamond gear. I think we could break it down using create, but like I said, don't really care about that. Interesting. Okay, dude, just... Interesting. Because I use middle mouse to attack, however I can also right click with it. But you could just hold right click and it'll shoot like a minigun. If I use the middle mouse, I had to keep clicking it. Yeah, just like that. Took out that dragon. Super easy. When you stack all those effects, as you saw, like, I did get a little worried at one point just because I couldn't move. But as soon as we switched to our main weapon, it was kind of a little too easy to take this guy out because, how I said, we are basically near the level 66 tower, which means this is still like a 62 level range, and we're able to beat a stage 5 dragon just like that. So this is kind of crazy. I will do my best to beat that monastery as soon as possible, just so that we can hurry up and head to the Nether, in hopes that we actually find some bosses that will give us a challenge, because in the beginning of this series, or at the beginning of the series, we were getting absolutely destroyed, and then all of a sudden we are the ones destroying everything and everyone, and I kind of want to reset it back so I could have some fun with the struggle. Like, as much as I want it to be easy, the struggle to achieve things is very rewarding. Okay, let's see what's over here. And just some more of this. Let's see, how many dragon steel can you make from the blood? Okay, so 1 blood equates to 1 dragon steel. Interesting. Well, besides that other ice dragon over there, I do know where there are 2 above ground dragons are, so we could farm some more ice from them, and we should be able to make some armor if I could get me a pet dragon. Let's see, let's grab all this. Just take it all, because why not? I do want to switch to be able to use these golden carrots, which means I am going to need a wee bit more gold, just to make sure my supply at base does not run out while I craft a ton of these guys. Okay, now that that is done, Are there eggs? Okay. Stop pissing me off. So, eggs? Question mark? Eggs. Oh. There might not be any eggs, which is a little sad, but I guess I'll go offline, look around a bit, and then I'll be back to fight the other dragon. See you guys in just a moment. Alright, and we are back, and this time I'm going to try using this sword to fight, which can be a little annoying, just a little FYI, just because it is like a fat swipe in comparison to this guy, and it is way slower, but kind of want to showcase how you could use different weapons and whatever the case may be, and that's another reason why I don't really care what's in my offhand and using it to fight, even though I could if I really wanted to. It's because this guy is a two-handed weapon, so kind of can't use the other one, but I could still use the stats. As you can see, I'm holding this in hand, and my armor is still all the way up, which is pretty convenient if you ask me. So let's rebuff ourselves. Let's see which one is the shortest time frame. We'll use this guy for what? We'll use it with this, because that should buff it a little bit. We'll do this one, and then which one is it? Charged. Boom. Let's see if we can shoot the little acid at it real quick. Boom. Boom. We'll switch to magic. We'll drink our frost potion. And let's go smack this beast. Whoops. Switch back to our sword. Look at that damage. One successful swipe. Oop. Let's see. Okay, stop biting me. Let's see. Can I get off this damn block? Like, this is atrocious. Okay, dude. Just so annoying. But in a few seconds, it's basically done and over with. Behave. Accept your death. Come on. Damn beast. You see, I can't move even with this frost stuff. Boom. Done. 200 damage in one swipe. Like I said, if you can get close enough to these guys that are absurdly huge, one good smack does like 300-400 damage, and then I think this guy's considered a boss, so whatever amount of damage we're doing, add 75% to it. It's kind of crazy. That's why these are my two main weapons, and my goal is to upgrade this guy, just because this one, without reforging or adding gems, is already as maxed out as it can be. But this guy, on the other hand, can also be reforged and whatever the case may be, but if we press U on it, it does turn from the slumbering Lich Blade to the waking Lich Blade, which gives us a little weapon ability. And then guess what? If we upgrade it again, we get the awakened. So from waking to the awakened, and this is the last tier for it, but it gives you even more little benefits from its ability, which if we take a look over here, the slumbering, I don't know if you guys see, but there's like tiny little particles that radiate around me whenever I'm holding it, and that stuff does damage. Right now it does like 9-10 damage to any enemies nearby and kind of staggers them, which is pretty useful, but doesn't do that to all enemies. So little FYI, if you're trying to AFK using it, they can still get to you. But if we get it to the waking, we do get the little hold right click thing, which means the little souls can go attack a distant target and has a chance to siphon health to you, which is pretty cool. And if we press U on it again and we hover over it, as you can see, it does increase in its little abilities. Oh, not to mention the Anguish Soul does increase, so I'm pretty sure it'll do more damage and it might become more frequent. And then same thing here, might increase again and might become even more frequent. But if we look at the little stats over here after um, where we left off, where it can siphon after your attack subsides, your souls return to you, and upon reaching you, grant you absorption. So then that's basically granting us temporary health to take damage from our enemies. So this stuff can be pretty crazy. Let's switch this back and get rid of all these damn spikes just because they're super annoying. But yeah, look at that. Another dude done. Level 60, 3100 health, 75 armor, and this dude was beat insanely quick. Why was that? Well, when we used our magic missile, this dude was taking some fat damage. Yeah, because I don't know if you guys saw, I spammed it like crazy at him, and then boom, went from like 2700 health to like 1000 or less. And then after that, we just swiped him a couple times with this guy and pff, gone. Oh, not to mention the reason why looks like I am healing after attacking is because I did take this little root right here, and this gave us these little things where you do heal on hit. So with these guys you get 4, and then this guy gives you another 4. So we are healing 8 health per hit, and the damage we are taking sometimes is like maybe 15-20 damage. So just attacking very quickly with the wand will instantly heal us, which is pretty cool. We're using this guy because how fast the flurry attacks can be. But okay, where is the body? Right here. Let's right click this. Damn, this guy's a little weaker, I guess, because that only gave us 9 instead of 10. Let's check the skull. Yep, that was a stage 4. So they roughly had the same amount of health. I guess he did do less damage, but I'm assuming that's because of the little frost thing that we had. And yeah, so I don't know if there's going to be eggs here. I don't know if that's specific to a certain dragon or not. Ooh, interesting. But yeah, I'll mine around underground, see if there's anything. If not, oh well. But I do think I'm gonna wrap it up for the episode just because that's a lot of time that we did spend doing a whole lot of explaining. So yeah, hopefully my answer did satisfy you, my guy. But it is very fun to say the least because there's so many options, so many paths, so many combinations and stuff that you can utilize to make yourself insanely strong. And it's awesome, honestly. I love it. Like, I never really dabbled in iron spells like that. Like, I think the only time that I kind of touched it was when I played All the Mods 9 by myself. And I kind of only did it just to get that Arcanus gear, I guess. The Unobtainium Arcanus gear. That was just because I thought it was cool to have max mana and stuff, but I didn't really care about using the spells, so I didn't really get anything too crazy. And the fact that here we could do it using the specialized gear, and that there's a class or at least a branch that you could actually specialize in to increase all the effects and had all these different bonuses, it just makes the magic class feel so much more fun. It feels amazing, honestly. I really love it in this mod pack. I think this is probably the only mod pack that I've played so far that has like a somewhat balanced mage class while making sure it stays strong. Because I don't know about now, because I haven't played Cisco's mod pack in about, uh, I want to say like 6 months at this point. But I remember when I was playing that mod pack, your armor, your damage, and everything can get insane very quickly. Like, especially when you were using Ars Nouveau. I swear, I was one tapping the Elder Guardian, which I think the Elder Guardian in my world at that time was like 3,000 blocks out. No, it was like level 120, or I might be wrong. All I know is that that thing had over 13,000 health, and I basically 5-shot him with just little magic bolts. So you could get insanely strong in that one. But yeah, this one's feeling fun. It's feeling great. Feels balanced, not too crazy. Feels a lot, or I'm just enjoying it because I feel like I'm playing something new. I've always played tech, and messing around with magic and fighting bosses and just constant combat has been super awesome. Let's see, the only thing that I do want to touch on before I end the episode is that next episode, we will hopefully be going to the Nether. Anything that I need to do before the Nether, I will do on my own, just because I think I am taking too long to get all the stuff to go there. After all, I already have the frost maw, I already have the sunbird stuff, I already got the other one from being the Paris Rotnod or whatever his name is. I think that's his name. And then just Tomby. I do have some little blaze rods or buff rods, whatever they're called. So I'm gonna go challenge the monastery thing, hopefully beat it. And so next episode, we'll be ready to dive right in, because that's gonna be a whole new beast, because now we will be able to get some rare fragments from Apotheosis. So then we will be able to reforge our gear to get even better stats, have an extra slot for more gems, acquire better gems, and then something that is pretty cool that I've never seen before. I don't know how new this mod is, but Souls-like. Yeah, Souls-like. This mod pack adds a whole ton of stuff. I have no clue what all it adds. All I know is that there's a lot of stuff, and some of the stuff looks super cool if you ask me. Especially weapons wise. Like, look at these things. What are these for? I have no clue. I'm gonna have to do some research just so when we do go to the Nether, I can't just ramble as I'm exploring and explain what this stuff may have, just because this stuff looks pretty cool. I gotta say, this stuff looks pretty cool. I like the little animations. It's awesome. But yeah, I will do my best to get everything done, and if I do anything else besides that, I'll make sure to recap that in the beginning of the episode before we go in. And yeah, just like that, we basically went over our class, we explained all our stats, kinda explained why some of the stuff from iron spells is very effective even if you are using a different class. Of course, there's going to be some restrictions and some penalties applied when you use it. However, I highly recommend using it even with those restrictions and penalties, just because it does help out a ton. If you can, look for the weapons that work best for you and use them non-stop, or basically train with them for a good amount of time so that you can understand the mechanics behind it. Just because when I first started, I don't know if you guys noticed, I was getting super frustrated because I had no clue what I was doing. I've never really fought in this type of manner because of epic combat, epic fights, whatever it is. I've never really used that. I've never really had to deal with mobs attacking back with that same manner and having shields and armor that does counter your attacks and whatnot. So yeah, it's a little bit of a learning curve, that's for sure, but once you start getting used to it and kind of understand the mechanics behind it, this stuff gets crazy. It gets crazy. Like, these stats, insane. Oh, we got another one. In that case, I will put it over here. And the next point I do get, I am going to put it here, just because that's also going to increase the effect power, and then probably take another 2 of these gems over here, just to make sure we are at 50%. And the reason why that stuff's important is because that does apply to the gem effects. So, like, if we take a quick look, our health went from 2.1 to 2.2. I know that's such a slight change. However, once we get that 10% one, it's going to help out a lot on guys like the percent speed, where it's a higher percentage. That's going to look way better. And as we get better gems, those percentages and little additional values are going to increase. So then the increases that you'll see on top of that will be more drastic. So make sure you guys are utilizing all your resources just to make sure it does get easier and it doesn't stay hard. There are tons of things that you can do to improve your damage, armor, and basically overall gameplay. And if you have any questions about that, make sure to let me know down in the comments below, and I will do my best to explain it just because I do feel kind of knowledgeable when it comes to all these mods. So just ask me down in the comments, and I'll get to you guys as soon as possible. So for that, guys, if you guys enjoyed today's episode, make sure to hit that like button down below. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, and/or feedback, make sure to let me know down in the comments. I'll do my best to get to that whenever I can, whether that's responding down in the comments to your yeah, basically replying to you guys, and/or in the episode. I will gladly talk about it in the beginning or anytime throughout, whatever I can do to help y'all out. And if you guys want to keep yourselves updated on our journey, make sure to hit that subscribe button and hit that bell notification so that whenever I do upload a video and or make a post, you guys know what's going on and or if there's a new video out. But with that, guys, thank you guys once again for watching. Hope you guys are enjoying this like how I am, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.